Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great because it's been a minute since I sat down and did a little chatty video and also shared maybe a controversial opinion. I don't know, but I'm so excited because I love to talk and I love talking about things that I'm passionate about. So I hope you guys are ready for a little chit chat podcast vibe. I have my microphone that's not plugged in. She's never plugged in because I'm just too lazy to do all that audio stuff. And I feel like you guys can hear me, right? Let me know. Honestly, in this video, I just have two main points that I really wanted to talk about, and they're not anything crazy, and I don't know how controversial it'll be. Maybe it's super, maybe it's not at all, but it's definitely something that I've heard people share their opinions about, and I disagree. And so sometimes when I feel like I disagree and I don't foresee myself changing my opinion anytime soon, I just want to put it out there for the people who might vibe with it, because I don't want anyone to feel ashamed, especially a writer, for doing any of these things I'm about to talk about. So let's just go ahead and get into it, starting with the first thing on my mind, and that is the conversation around publishing your first book. And just a little backstory about me. I am not a seasoned author. I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a girl who loves to read, who has loved reading her entire life, and has tried and failed multiple times to write a book. And I'm now trying to write a book to completion. And right now, I do plan on publishing my book, but it's not something that I think about too much, because if I think too much about people reading it, then I think it hinders my writing process. But I'm open to maybe not publishing or just kind of going with the flow, seeing what happens. But as it currently stands, I do want to indie publish my book. And to be honest, this point mostly goes towards people who are indie publishing, because trad pub is just a whole nother beast that takes a lot of steps, and with indie publishing there's not as many barriers to get to for publishing. So I mostly want to talk to my indie publishers out there, or just people who are open to the idea of even trad publishing and it's your first go around and this is your first book, because the argument that I've heard is that your first book is not going to be a good book and it's not going to be the best book, and the more you write, the better you'll get and the better it will be. And since the book will be better, you want to publish a book from, I guess, a seasoned writer. And I don't 100% disagree with this argument, because of course the more you write, the better writer you're gonna be. Like, that just makes sense. You'll hone your skills and you've been around the block, so you know how things work. But ultimately, I just strongly disagree with the argument that you should not post your first book. And that's just for a few reasons. A few actually meaning quite a bit of reasons, but I'll try to narrow it down. But the first one is that it makes it seem like you can't publish something that's not perfect, or you can't publish something that's not by a beginner. Like, you need to reach a certain level of expertise or skill in order to let a piece of art exist in the world, and I just don't agree with that at all. And I think that even though a book, your first book, isn't going to be probably the best book you ever write, if you want to write other books, that doesn't mean it's not worth seeing. And regardless of technique and storytelling and all these things that you'll get better with time, there's nothing that can, personally, I think, replace your very first book. Arguably, your first book will probably be the hardest book that you ever write. And there's just, I think, a sense of pride that comes with finally finishing your first book that deserves to be celebrated. And if you don't want to keep it in the dark, why should it be kept in the dark just because it's your first book? And it's one thing if you just don't want to put it out there, but if you do want to put your first book out there, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone tell you that it's a mistake and that you shouldn't, because it's the first book and you're gonna regret it, and you're gonna eventually write 10 more books and look back at it and be like, dang, I thought this was good. I just really I'm trying to be civil, but I just really hate that, because for one, a first book does not mean a first draft. Let's get that straight. It might not be the best book you ever write in your entire life, but that doesn't mean you didn't work hard on the book. That doesn't mean that it's your first draft you're putting out there. That doesn't mean that you didn't go through rounds of drafts and rounds of beta readers and rounds of edits and all these things, hired people to help make this first book as good as it can be. Like, just because it might not be perfect doesn't mean it's not a good book. And like, there are people out there where their first book becomes successful, and I don't think that that's something that anyone should limit other people on or define what success means as well, because success doesn't mean, oh, I got 100,000 copies sold. Success can just mean it's out there and people can have the ability to read it, and I finished it and I did it, and I feel pretty good about myself, and I feel proud about myself because this was hard and you did it, and it deserves to exist in the world. And so I just really hope that if there's anybody out there who wants to publish their book and it's the first book, don't sell yourself short and think that you can't because it's the first book. Just because it's sitting on a shelf next to seasoned authors doesn't mean that it's any less deserving to be on that shelf. And another point that I want to also drive home is that the whole idea of not publishing your first book is kind of based upon the expectation that tomorrow is guaranteed. And I'm not trying to be dark, but that's just the reality. You don't know if you're gonna live tomorrow. You don't know if you're gonna live to write another book. And writing a book is already so much work and takes a lot of people years to do, especially if they have jobs and children and whatever other responsibilities that keep them from putting everything that they can into a book. And so I would hate, if I want to publish my book, I would hate so much to not allow myself that satisfaction or let that dream come true because I don't think it's good enough because it's my first, and that I need to write a bunch of other books, but I lay on my deathbed and I'm like, dang, I really should have published that book. Maybe it would have helped people. Maybe people would have loved it. Or maybe it would just make me feel good to have put it out there, but thinking that I should have waited until I wrote 9, 10, 11, 12 books. Like, and to be honest, I don't even know if I want to write 9, 10, 11, 12 books. Like, that's a lot. Like, I'm just so laser focused on this one book that the thought of doing this 10 extra times is like, oh my God. Like, that's something that I don't know if I want to do. Does that make me less of an author tuber? Maybe. I don't know, and I don't care, but that's just the truth. And if I just want to publish one book and be done with it, then that's okay. Not everyone's journey is the same, and not everyone's desires are the same, and not everyone's success is also the same. Because another point that I've heard people say is that don't expect your first book to be a New York bestseller. Don't expect it to be super successful and like become the next Hunger Games or Harry Potter or whatever. And like, the thing that annoys me about that statement is that, for one, authors know that it's not a super easy thing to just like pop off. They know, and they don't need that reminder. And also, I don't think that they need to be humbled. Why would you want to humble someone who's trying their best? Because writing is already a humbling experience. If you ever tried to write a book, you know there's so many ups and downs and emotions, and like, can I do it, can I not, imposter syndrome. Like, even when you reach success, there can still be imposter syndrome. And so the fact that someone can just be like, don't do it because it's your first book and it's probably not going to be as good as the 10 other books that you write, and also you need to humble yourself because it's not even gonna really sell, like, let's be realistic, it's just such like, I don't know, it just, the energy is just not giving, and I just really like I don't vibe with it. And I just want people to be supportive. Like, if someone's writing a book for the first time, I just want to hear about it, and I just want to wish them the best of luck, like I'm Irish, because it's a lot. And like, I just don't think that we should be gatekeeping writing and gatekeep publishing and save it for only the most experienced of the experienced, because not everyone is the same. And like, someone who writes one book could be better than my 10 books. You know what I mean? And like, some people are just naturally skilled, amazing writers, and some people might need to take a class, and that's so okay. So like, why would I hinder or just like kind of spit on someone else for wanting to like publish their first book? Because maybe my first book wasn't as successful, or maybe I don't think my first book is good enough, or maybe I'm projecting my insecurities on someone else who's just living their life. You know, like, make it make sense. And I don't know if it's something that's just like exclusive to writers, which I don't think there are, because I have like a lot of creative hobbies, one being literally YouTube. Another, I also really like to draw. I really like to embroider. I really like to crochet. I really like to paint. And I've had varying success with all of those things. Like, for example, look at my first YouTube video. Not that good. Should I have not published my first YouTube video? Does that make sense? Would I tell someone who's a beginner in something to not publish their first thing because they're bad at it? Like, literally, look at my first video. Look at even any other person's first video. Actually, you know what? This is a great example because, you know, there are a lot of people, their first videos are fire, the quality fire, the audio fire, the color grading fire, and they pop off. My first video, my first video was actually, you know what? Am I them? No, but my first video is literally the most viewed video, but I'm talking about like quality. I'm talking about the comfort I feel on camera. My second, third, fourth video, no. My 20th video, no. It took a while to get here, but I don't think that just because it's not the best quality doesn't mean that I shouldn't have posted it. Same thing with another person. If their first video is fire, then good for you guys. Good for you. And I'm not gonna hate, and I'm not gonna be that person to be like, you shouldn't press upload. You should just keep it in your like private YouTube and just keep on practicing, because unless you want to just make YouTube just for yourself, there's no point. And even in my earlier videos, like my first one that I said has the most views on my channel, I have not looked back at that video, but thinking about it still makes me cringe. But like, I've had the most comments on that video, the most thank yous, the most, oh my god, that was so helpful on that video. And even though when I think about it, I'm like, not my best, I'm so glad I did it, because there are people out there who are now happy that I posted that video because it was a resource type video. So I think we're just our own worst critics, and I think sometimes we don't see the value in things even if we think it might be cringe or we think that we can do better now. But I really think we should just let each other like breathe and let each other live. And I guess not take things too seriously, not take life too seriously. Just like, if you want to do something, just to do something and just for fun and not be thinking so much. Just like, ultimately, I think it is rooted in what other people think. Like, if I publish my first book, I'm just worried about what other people would think about it. And sure, there are reviews, and if you're trying to like live off of your first book, you want to have good reviews or whatever. But honestly, I do think most people are just trying to get their story out there. Most people are just so excited about their book, and it's not even about the money. They just are passionate and they want people to read it. And I swear, I know a few author tubers, right? When I ask them about their book, the joy and the like just radiance I see from authors when they can tell me about their book is just such a beautiful thing. Like, I love learning about people's books, and I love just that like pure joy that they get from talking about the book. And I bet you if they were to say like, hey, I just want one person to read my book and I'll be happy, and if they can enjoy it, I'll be happy, I bet you that would mean more to them than money. So anyways, hopefully I'm not beating a dead horse with that, but all in all, just do what makes you happy. And life is all about growing. We're always gonna change, get better, get worse about things, but don't let that stop you from sharing with the world what you want and doing what you want, you know? All right, so the next topic that I wanted to talk about, it's not specific to authortube per se, but I guess just content creation as a whole. And this is something that I've seen since the beginning of time, guys. Like, people have, and even with this video, they still will have problems with this, but I just kind of want to talk about it anyways. And that's money, that's sponsorship, that's AdSense, that's literally anything that has to do with getting paid from doing social media. Because there's just this weird disconnect that I just feel like people don't get it. And if you don't get it, I will break it down for you, because it's not as malicious and like sneaky as you think, guys. I promise you it's not that deep. So let's take a deep breath and chill out. Okay, so things that I've heard is that if you do sponsorships, then pretty much you're a sellout and you don't care about YouTube, or you don't care about the craft, or you don't care about X, Y, and Z, your audience, I don't know. And I just want to kind of take you through the steps and the thought process as somebody who does YouTube. So a lot of the times you're gonna get an email from a brand and they're gonna be like, hey, we want to work with you, we want to send you this product so you could talk about it and send you money. Because contrary to popular belief, what you're watching right now took time to put together. Just like anything in the world, if you are doing a task for someone else, that requires compensation. So we got that down, right? Like, if someone is asking you for a service, you will get money for said service. That's not with this. That's literally for anything in the whole wide world. Okay, cool. Most times, and I can't speak for all people on the internet because some people just, they'll take whatever. But if you like the product or you think that it's something that can be beneficial to your audience, you will say yes. I don't understand why someone would say no. It just seems like a win-win situation, right? Like, I heard about this cool thing, I'm gonna recommend it to you. And especially too, a lot of the time it could be products that I've never even heard of, so I'll give it a go. And then if I think this is a great thing for y'all to know about, then sure, I will let you know. But most of the time too, if I think that there's something that's great, I'll just say it in a video. Like, hey, this phone case is really cute. Link in bio if you want it, or link in the description, or whatever people are saying. But yeah, it's weird that like people think that there's some type of sellout, hustling type vibe. And hustle in like a bad way, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I think it's weird when people think that you're like selling out when you get compensated for things, because at the end of the day, if something's working, especially for these full-time YouTuber creators out there, you gotta eat, you gotta live, you got bills to pay. So like, if you can do something you love and get paid for it at the same time, then why would you not do it? And I do think that this probably just stems from a place of jealousy when people say stuff like that, because they just want that for themselves as well. But if people like really think about it, it's really just common sense. And the good thing is too, no one's required to purchase anything. If you don't want to hear it, you just skip ahead. If you don't want to buy it, you just don't buy it. But for whatever reason, some people just get so pissed about this. And in a way, sure, I guess I can understand if, let's say someone is putting ads every 2 seconds and you can't watch the video without an ad. It's like, dang, you just don't care. Or like, if you are just putting a 10-minute video out there and then let's say 9 of it is talking about a brand, and you titled the video "A Day in My Life" but only 1 minute is a day in my life, then yeah, that's dishonest. But like, if you have a 2-minute integration in a video, it's really not that serious. And the whole reason why I'm bringing up this point is that I feel like people don't think you can walk and chew gum at the same time. And I think people think that things are mutually exclusive and that I can't be passionate about writing my book while also doing YouTube and getting money from it, whether it's a sponsorship or something else. I feel like people think that you can't have both of those things, and I just would love to know why. And of course, sure, there are people out there who just are in it for the bag. Cool. But like, if someone's actively writing a book, or just writing, or just likes to talk about writing, because there's really not a real way to be an author tuber, then who cares? If you're forcing me to buy something, then that's a problem, but I'm not. I just think it's kind of funny when people hate on creators for like sponsorships and stuff, and like, and I guess bringing it back to authortube, because I think different niches experience different things, let's say that. So at least with my experience in authortube, and go ahead and call me biased, but like, I just don't feel that energy. Like, there has never been an authortuber where I'm like, you don't care about writing, you're not in it for the right reasons. Also, what is the right reasons? Like, it makes me feel like it's like The Bachelor. But like, I just love the beauty in authortube and like the differences that people bring. And just because it might not look the way I do authortube doesn't mean that they're a sellout. Or if they have more sponsorships than the next authortuber, then they're a sellout, and that they only care about money. And like, I just think that it's silly, and nobody ever says that to literally any other job or way you can get income. Like, just like, wait till they find out that doctors get paid for helping them. Like, oh, bringing it back to the first point, like, most things in life are not free. So I just don't know why genuineness mixed in with money equal sellout, equal hustler. You just don't care about writing, you know? And I just wish that people could not jump to the negative. And again, beyond just what I said, because this could just be your job and you're just getting money to survive. But also, like, we just don't know what's going on in other people's lives as well. And like, I can't help to think about, like, what if this is the thing that's keeping them afloat? Like, they have their full-time job, but then they're also getting AdSense money every month that just helps them make it to the next month, you know what I mean, with bills or whatever else. And like, just to be like, you don't care about writing because you're also getting money from this, and then we're gonna just shame people trying to survive. I don't know. And especially too, like, in the current state state of the country and how expensive things are getting, I would definitely encourage having multiple streams of income, because there was a government shutdown where people just were not getting paid. And I know that like when the government's open again, like things can go back to normal, but like there are things in life that happen where maybe you get like fired and there's no wait for it to open back up. Like, no, you're fired, go find another job. And the job market, the housing market, the cost of rent, the cost of eggs, like, come on, like, it's just silly. And I would never shame any other person and any other job that they're making money. Like, how dare you accept money for doing things that require work? Like, how dare you? Like, it's just, again, jealousy. I just feel like most things just kind of come down to jealousy, if not ignorance. So if you don't want to be like sold something or like whatever, then the internet just isn't for you, because guys, there are ads everywhere and it's not going away. And a lot of times too, like when I'm sold something, it's like, oh shoot, that's kind of cool. Like, I would be lying if I said there hasn't been an ad or a sponsorship or whatever that I haven't been intrigued about and been like, oh wait, that's actually makes sense. And you know, a lot of these brands are specific in who they like send emails to, because they think that the audience would really resonate. So it is just kind of a win-win in my opinion. But again, maybe I'm biased and maybe I'm full of it, and Amina just stopped talking. And if that's the case, then why are you still here? How controversial was that? Was I messy? I don't think I was. And this was not directed at any person. When I say all these things, this is not an ad at someone. But if the shoe fits, don't come for me. Don't start adding nobody, because I didn't call nobody out. So I think we're just gonna stop here for the unpopular opinions or just controversial opinions that I have. I definitely have other ones, so if you'd like to hear my opinions again in a different video, then go ahead and let me know. But if you disagree with anything that I said, it's really not that serious. We need to learn to have civil discourse. I feel like sometimes people just like have an aneurysm when someone disagrees and they just have to go straight to that keyboard. And that's the difference between like a fully developed prefrontal cortex and someone who just has not and probably will not ever develop it. So yeah, if you disagree, that's okay. Let me know, but don't pull anything, because it's not that deep. And none of this is all that deep, because at the end of the day, people are gonna do what they want to do, and people are gonna disagree no matter what. So yeah, if you made it this far, what's a cool fun emoji? I was gonna say angry face, but then I feel like in a couple weeks when I forget I posted this video and someone posts an angry face, I'm gonna be like, what did I say? So don't do that one. How about put like an you know that like green leaf emoji? Let's do that for peace. I don't know if that's not an olive. What does an olive branch look like? Shoot, hold on. Oh, it does look like an olive branch. Haha, you learn something new every day. Put that olive branch looking emoji or any plant emoji if you can't find it, or if it's not showing up in the comments. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Mwah.